Boom goes the dynamite. We are on time on the button. We had some technical difficulties, so the man with the plan and a backup plan, my co-host, Mr. Paul Anastasi, welcome, and you're a little bit delayed, so we won't hold that against you.
Okay, nice to be here. Nice to see you again, Scott.
Yes, I'm happy to be here and honored to be here, actually.
Yeah. Well, and I'm Joshua Peach, and this is the Be Awesome at Facility Management podcast. In case you were curious as to whether or not you're in the right room and place, you are here with us, and we are going to sit down with a new old friend that I actually met. Paul and I were in Atlantic City, New Jersey earlier this week, and I met our guest originally probably about 6 years ago, and his name is Scott Klein. And he was in my class of probably 150 people. And I had said something, and I hear a voice, a heckling voice at that in the back, and I couldn't quite see who it was. And I asked the person to stand up. Now, for those of you that know me, you know that I worked at a startup in the early 2000s that ended up having one of the most recognizable mascots and logos anywhere, more recognizable than Harley Davidson, more recognizable than Southwest to their clients and prospective clients, the industries they served. But I always thought it was ridiculous because I never saw this mascot resemble our clients. I said, where do we get this? And they said, oh, we had one of those criminal stenographers, draw up what a facility professional education would look like. And what he looked like was someone with a red shirt, overalls, no hair on their head, and glasses. And I've only seen Scott with a hat on, so I don't know how much hair he has on his head, but he's been around a while, so I'm guessing he's got less. He's the dude. So he stood up. He stood up. He had a red shirt, overalls, and glasses. And I'm like, there he is. 12 years afterwards, I finally found what they modeled this mascot over. It's Scott. And every year since then, Scott has come and sat in my classes. And this year he was front and center in the front row. And I have to say, I learned more about Scott this Monday than I have in previous years. And I was just fascinated. He's got an amazing story. And Paul and I asked him, said, how about you be on our podcast? We were planning on doing it live in Atlantic City. And I had some challenges then in front of me that I had to head home early. So here we are live for you, and feel free to put comments in. We know we got a lot of people watching and listening. Scott's got a following like nobody's business, but Scott Klein from Rancocas High School down in New Jersey. Welcome, my friend. Thanks for joining us. First of all, just an amazing honor to have you as a friend and someone in my circle of friends after all these years. It's just been great getting to know you.
Well, and to that, I appreciate it, Josh. And every time that I have been in your presence in your, the classes and the sessions, I actually, when I leave out of those sessions, I feel better than I did in the last 10 years. So, I mean, they're a great motivational speak. I take a lot from it. And like I said, I consider you a good friend also. And it was great to be back this year at Atlantic City and seeing all the familiar faces and friends that you've acquired through the years and the networking that you do, so to speak. And it was amazing classes this year, and I had the best time. And the chapter put on, Building and Ground Association put on an amazing show this year, as always. And it was I had a good time, probably one of the best in many years, but and seeing a lot of different faces that you haven't seen and get back to some kind of normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice after a long time. This was one of the first conferences that was canceled that I know I was scheduled to be at when COVID hit.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Yeah, I think it was the first. I think it was actually supposed to be right around March 13th. Like they had no advance notice.
And I guess you're right. It was probably it was like a week later we were going, and I'm like, we're not going now, and then like Paul had brought up in his session, you think, it'll be Monday. We'll be back to school, and then Monday turned into a week, and then Monday turned into a 3 months, and it just went on from there. So, but I'm glad that we're at this stage in the game so far. And even at my facilities, they masks are optional. So, and that's good for kids, and the moving forward.
Yeah. And Josh, I'm talking about the event itself. You've been to many more of these than I, but I look at the New Jersey event as one of the top rated. I mean, they're right up there. You tell me. You've been to many more.
Yeah, model event. It's a model event. You don't. The biggest fear that associations have. Two fears. One is filling content. It's really hard to fill good content that's educational. That's not a sales pitch. There's very few real experts in industry that engage an audience that would fill a room. And they don't just fill a room there. They fill 4, 5, 6 rooms multiple times a day. People pre-register so that they have a seat, because those are the people that get the preferential treatment. As far as an exhibit area, I think they had 200 plus companies, vendors. So you talk about exposing your members to, they had everything from paving companies, technology companies, cleaning supply, playground. They covered the whole gambit. And for any facility professional in education to see all those companies, even through, the internet and technology and leveraging that, it would take them days, where they were able to cover it in 4 or 5 hours. Just the level of professionalism. The chapter members all have their blazers with their logo on it. All the chapters have their own banner. They step up the game. They really give the not the appearance, the reality that facility staff aren't people that aren't educated or don't know how to use a computer or don't know how to tie their shoes properly. These people they're professionals, and they've come up a long ways from just pushing brooms, and they do it right. There's some great associations, but they do it right.
And through the years, though, they've along with them lines, they've streamlined it, if you will, like with the class, for myself especially, and my other colleagues, that to go into the classes, and they made it easier, and the account then they track it better. They you have the barcode with your name on it, so then you're pretty much guaranteed. But years past, it was more like a paper trail type of thing, but they've streamlined it, and I'm in all favor of it. And the breakfast, the vendors, the vendors were amazing. And then, there was a lot of people there that I do use as a vendor. And it's good to see people, the people you use in live person, and seeing what new products are out there. And cause you're in your little wheelhouse, and you don't usually get to see what's out there and what's new and what's coming. So I was impressed with the whole this year. I like I said, I had a fabulous time and talked to a lot of fabulous people, and they do a nice job. And even our Burlington County chapter is on the forefront too, with new members, and always pushing the bar as far as getting information out to our members. And we have a chapter meeting, a luncheon every month. Yep. So we're always in communication with our colleagues, and it's good information that we can share amongst our chapter.
Hey, so speaking of that, I was talking to someone in your chapter that goes to the meetings. I was talking about you, and they says he brings his dog to the meeting sometimes. And so I said, so look, knowing you for a couple of years, and kind of trying to picture the dog. I says, what's he got? Like a Great Dane, a Rottweiler, or an Irish Wolfhound? What's he got?
Well, it's quite the opposite. my son got a sticker or magnet for me a couple years ago. It said it takes a real man to walk a small dog. So I actually have me and my wife have 2 dogs, and they're dash hounds. So
oh man, I love those.
And my son has 2, and he still lives with us, so that brings it to 4. But we got Maisie. Her name's Maisie. She's a girl, and she's not the typical color. So she has some white and black, and it all. I actually I'm on a trail. I've been on a trail for over a year now to make her a therapy dog. Because it all started out when we had got her in the summer. It was a June, and she's 8 weeks old, and my wife, I raised 3 grown boys, and then my wife said, "Well, hon, I'm going to the shore with the girls. Would you mind taking Maisie to work?" I go, "What?" Now I'm babysitting. So so that's how it actually started. So I bring her to work, and now they don't even say hi to me. They just say, "Oh, come here, Maisie, let me pet you." So that's how it turned out. And then based on the school setting and the world we live in, so to speak, it's all about mental health, and that's where I took it on myself to go through these trainings and have a reputable people that do train for mental health. And actually we're like one test away from being totally legit to be a therapy dog. So but no, it's she's a rock star. She really is.
Yeah, no, it sounded like she had quite the following, because it's they were the word was needs to bring her more. I think was what it was. Yeah. So that's great. So Scott, you've been in the industry for like 26 years, I think you told me, 26, 28 years.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your journey, and did you grow up saying, I want to be a facility manager when I grow up, or kind of how did this all come along?
That was never in my wheelhouse. I went to tech school when I was, young, and I've been a plumber all my life. Then, I got married young, and my wife's family, her father had started a plumbing business back in the day. And then, I'm like more involved with plumbing. So, I worked for companies and couple, commercial residential things. And, when I was 30, it actually was the facility manager before me, Mr. Bill Dent, who was a past president of the chapter, so he was involved quite frequently with it. But he used to work at the steel mill, and he called his friend that was a plumber in the steel mill. And of course, that went downhill in the early 90s. So, and Mr. Shields was my neighbor, like down the street, and that's where we always played. And, so Mr. Shields said, "Well, no, I'm retired. I'm not going back to work again." So he said, "Well, I might know somebody." So then he calls me, and then I came for the interview. And actually, after the interview and all, and my old boss that was when I was doing plumbing, he to this day I remember it. He goes, I gave my 2 weeks and all, and he said, "You'll never make it in the school system. You'll just be swinging a mop. You won't like it." And so I said, "Well, see what we can do." So I went to the interview, came home. I said, the money isn't there, what I was making. And, of course, my beautiful wife, knows a lot more and talked me down. So I started in the business when I was 30 at this facility at Rancocas Valley. And as a plumber, because the plumber retired before me. And I loved it. I loved it because it was something different every day. All right. So, I could be fixing a toilet or doing some new, putting in a new water heater, or doing plumbing jobs. But then you got the other side of, I need you to go fix this gate, or can you go weed whack, the field for us, or, so that aspect of it I loved. I really liked the different stuff every day, but I've always been a plumber, and and I'm very mechanical, and I can fix pretty much anything. So that fit into my wheelhouse. And then I became a foreman for the school here. And I was pretty successful with it all through the years. I probably was a foreman for 20. I had some great bosses. Like I said, Mr. Dent was my the facility manager. Then John Gaunt, which Josh might know or remember, John, he was the assistant. And then of course it goes in the snowball, or it changes. You go up the ladder, and then about a little over 4 years ago, John said, well, I'm thinking about retiring. And he was like a father to me. And I met John, and he wasn't real sure about me when we first he did the interview, but I got the job, and we're like best friends now. Like, I've known John as long as I've been here at the facility, and we still keep in touch since he's retired. But so then, the position comes up for facility manager because John's retiring, and then they said, well, we're going to do a full blown interview with, put it out, because it being in a public system, you put it out to the public. So and then I need a resume now, and I'm like, oof, I've never, I just show up, fill out a little, a paper, and I, never really compiled a resume. So my daughter-in-law helped me with that, and the experience is in the facility. So I just did it because I felt it compelled to do it, because that's the next step up in the the chain, if you will. And I was I didn't want to work for nobody else. So if you get an outside person that comes in, and everybody has their own views and ideas. So and long story short, I got the job, and I started as an interim, and then the rest is history. And I've always been compassionate about kids and helping kids. I ran a Pop Warner football program for many years, and I just love kids, and that's what this is about, and I interact with kids in the school, and I just love the way I call it my house. This is my house. And we down here in Mount Holly, we call it the big house where our building is. But I look at my facility as my house. You want to keep your house to the best of your ability, the top notch, and make it curb appeal is another word I use a lot. I make people come to your facility, and they will, if they got the wow factor, then you're doing pretty well. I mean, so but that's my journey, and I've been here 26 years. December I'll be 27. I have great people that we consider it a family here. Like I tell contractors, if you're here more than 3 days, you're family. It's so I have multiple friends, family, and the contractors are always been loyal to us here, and we do a lot of work in-house. I still like to work, and that's another thing I do is I try to lead by example. I'll go out and weed whack, and that's not above me, or push mow or go fix the toilet if we need it. I like to do that. So the whole, and then the steps you go to be in the position you are, and people don't realize the schooling that you still have to maintain your credibility and your certificates. So there's a lot of and then the networking that I've just engulfed, with like our chapter, the Burlington County chapter. Like I call, certain people and say, you got anybody that does power washing or or who do you use for your propane, or so, or what do you think? And so there is a lot of networking that goes on. And then again, as you guys know at the show, that's basically what you're doing, is networking and meeting different people.
That's a long way from crawling under a sink to fix a faucet, isn't it?
Well, and like I said, Paul, that's always stuck with me. And he didn't give me any vote. My old boss didn't give me any vote of confidence. And I just I'm not a big title person. I don't throw like, oh, I'm the facilities manager. Well, that's my title, but I'm still Scott, and I'm still an everyday guy. I still have 3 boys at home, grown boys, and we're a mechanical family. My 2 older sons are electricians, and my youngest son is a welder, and he works for SEPTA in Philadelphia. So, my whole family's mechanical. So,
it's sometimes your personality is typical to mine. When someone tells me I can't do it or I'm not going to do it, it becomes a challenge for me. Yeah. And I go at it as a challenge. I was told before I had my school job, I talked to someone that worked in the schools, and he was a hockey parent like I was, and he said, "Don't do it. It's a horrible place. Don't go there." And it was like, here I am 30 years later, and made a career out of it.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's the way I've and I, like I said, I thank my beautiful wife for talking me down, because I was like almost in tears, like, I'm not taking that job, that they're only paying XYZ, and but she's like, well, and when you have 3 little kids at that time, benefits and steady work, I've never been laid off one day in my life, and there's always something to do at work. And I still am not above swinging a mop, or,
Right.
If there's a leak and nobody's here, I'll go clean up the water on the floor. That's not above me. And I work with the custodial people, in the building. I know how to strip floors. I know how to wax.
Yeah.
And so,
and I think knowing all of us now, that I can say that behind every successful man is a good woman that can talk us down.
Oh yeah, Paul.
Second that motion.
Based on your session, you mentioned your wife, and like I said, in end of April, I'll be married 37 years. So my wife's my best friend, and now I have a 5-year-old granddaughter, and that's been a game changer for me. Totally a game changer. She's like my best friend, my granddaughter. So, but yeah, it's and the people that you meet along the way, and the journey, and the people that have worked for you or worked with you, that whole journey is I wouldn't change nothing, honestly.
No, I'm writing notes. I got like a page and a half of notes I'm going on.
Should I slow down, or?
No, you're doing this. No, this is great. It was funny when you were talking about you can't do it and all that stuff. I saw a friend of mine who's an author. He's written a couple of books, and he says, I'm writing a new book. The title of it is "You're Not Good Enough." And I said, man, I heard that all my life.
Yeah.
My dad told me that almost daily. We all have those people, and I don't agree with it. I don't ever tell somebody they're not good enough. If I do anything, I just don't say anything.
Yeah.
But I think in a different time, we all had people, multiple in my case, that people would just say, you can't do it. You're not going to accomplish that. And it puts a fire under you that just says, you know what, I'm going to show that person that I can do it. A lot of times you don't even know it. It just sits in the back of your brain, and you push, and then you go, here I am now. When you look back, you look at the journey, like you had quite the journey, and you're not there with the business card to say you're the boss.
No,
you're there to help people, and you still get dirty. And I love it.
Yeah. And, my story was even before I left home when I was 18, based on I didn't have a good childhood, and all I had to my name was a wash basket full of clothes. And my wife's family took me in, and like my father-in-law he was like a rock star in my eyes. And not having a father figure that would give you any guidance or give you any support, he was like the person that took me and said, well, we'll do some plumbing. We're if you're interested, I'm interested. And he was always the one to push me along, and I've never gave up on anything in my life. So but I'm not, I made a good living, and I've raised 3 boys, and I have a house, and 4 dogs, and I have hobbies now that once, like Paul was saying about when kids, you have your kids playing sports, and the time frame isn't, you're going here, and Scott needs to go here to football practice, and I got to pick Jacob up, that your kids are all at the center of your whole life. And then when you get older, then you have a little bit more free time, so to speak. But then, like I said, my granddaughters,
then the grandkids come along, and that's the next focus.
And Paul, I would drop whatever I was doing. If they say, Isley, can you watch Yeah, I'll pick her up. It's not a big deal to me,
Yeah.
But as far as the work, the building, like I said, we've had a lot of construction going on here in the last. Well, there's always seems like if you're in a facility, there's always something construction going on. But our school has been a major transformation in the last year, where we've had new windows and new exterior doors. We've had HVAC being put in, and it's still ongoing, which will be ongoing into the summer months. So, there's a lot of things that come into play when you're trying to get school ready at the end of August. And, it always comes down to that final hour, we got to clear the hallways out. Your gang box can't be in the hallway.
Right.
So it's, and we have some older parts of our building that are, 1937, our main facade in the front is from that era. And it's like a historical building, if you will, like our building here, and we take pride in it. And I have a outbuilding, an annex building, which is administrative, and a lot of our superintendent, my BA and secretaries. But then there's a flip program they have out there, and it's a prep area where kids that are need a little bit more help, that's where they go. And we have an off-campus sports complex with like 100 acres out there, where everything from softball, baseball, soccer, sports is a good. And there's, like Josh brings this up a lot too. School's more busy when it's closed than it is when it's open.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If you know what I mean, with community people, and you're having a craft fair, you got a play going on, you got sports that's taking place on the weekend. So it's a 24-hour a day. Our school's only closed from 11 to 5. So
right.
That's the there's a lot of stuff that goes on.
Irving Fryer went to your school, right?
Yes,
New
sir.
England Patriot. Yep.
Yeah, for all the New England listeners there.
Yeah, Franco Harris, Alonzo Spellman. So there's been a lot of big name people, not that came from a little school or a school in Mount Holly. That's where it's located, and I don't know if that put us on the map, but and people even come by. I bring my wife by to school, and because I live in Pennsylvania, which is right across the bridge from Jersey, but she's like, "Hon, this place is amazing looking," So that's what you want. you want people to feel comfortable and be happy and to come to work and say, wow, this, I love coming to work. So,
And sometimes you even feed them, right?
oh yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and I, me and Josh were talking about that, about, how do you give your guys a thank you, if you will? Like, you can tell them you're doing a great job, but having pizza at the end of the month, on the
All the
last
toppings.
Friday of the month, and
All the
toppings.
toppings.
Loaded with toppings.
Loaded.
We're not chincing out on no pepperoni. We were mushrooms, sausage, onions, the whole 9 yards. So, but that's another way to give them the thank you. That and it's, we don't have to take a half hour. We could take 45 minutes and enjoy the pizza, and then we go about our day. So it's and being the snow plowing we do here, it's everything that I've learned in all my years is everything comes in full circle. Every you can base your whole agenda on the month of, like, right now I know it's getting close to April. Spring sports has started. We're going to be playing games soon, and then you roll into graduation and construction, summer projects. So everything is a full circle in the realm. So it's and I have a foreman, Rob Favor, that got his credentials, and he's the foreman now, and he's been a great asset to me. And I have a secretary now that I've never had in my life. So those changes, there's always changes, and you want to try to keep it to the next level. And the hardest thing for me to being in this position is the technical end of it. Whether
more and more technology all the time.
Yeah. Well, I never thought I'd see the day where Scott's got a laptop, all right, an iPad. I got a computer on my desk. So those things are, but everything is going towards that, based on the technical end of, even worse systems in your building.
Right.
So you have to either get on board or you're going to get, left behind. So,
you were talking, you talked about the cycles. And I remember when I first started, one of the biggest lies that I was told by guys that were there is, we'll do that in the summer when it gets quiet. We'll do that in the summer when it gets quiet.
Yeah, Paul.
I want to know when that quiet summer's coming. It's been 30 years. I've been waiting for that quiet summer.
You're absolutely right. And, it's funny you say that, because there's been people, friends or, acquaintances are like, oh, what are you doing this summer? You off this summer, right?
Yeah,
I go, what? I've never been off one summer in my life, so they don't realize that, it's a 365 day a year job. So, and summers, full throttle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yep. Paul, I don't know if you've seen his school.
No, I haven't.
So, out of the 3 sessions, each session had, 125, 150 people. Each session, they thought I had a plant, somebody there to keep things going. The first session was you and Kenny. And then the second session was, Tony was in the session with you guys, right?
Yeah.
The one taking notes in the front, that talked about being energized. I'm trying to think of the second one, but there were a couple people that thought that Scott was my plant for the third session. First, they were like, he doesn't sit in front. I said, well, he does for me.
Yeah.
And he said, what do you think? They said, what do you think of his school? And I said, I don't know anything about it. Yeah. And they said, it is one of the most beautiful schools. When Scott talks about curb appeal, you got to do a search. I'm going to put some pictures up, but these people do it right. Yeah. Not only do you do it right, I want to tell you something. Whoever's managing your website, I love the fact that the staff, they got pictures of just about everybody. There's a couple that your team's missing. I want to see those guys, those guys and girls' faces on there. But I'm going to tell you something. The website, it's got internet curb appeal, and the building, the space, it is absolutely gorgeous. it's a 1937 looking building that looks like
Yeah.
the last brick was just laid yesterday.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. But yeah, and that's what you try to maintain that whole thing, because not only are we here for the kids and that's your main focus, and having a safe place, but like I said, all the activities you have after school with the public coming in, Mrs. Jones, and 8th grade parent night, and all those, that's where the parents come, and they want to see what their kids are experiencing every day, and what the school looks like. And my custodial staff is top notch, and we have a foreman, Luther Lewis, he's our night foreman, and they they do a great job also. And it's that's another tire on your car. I have a maintenance program, I have a custodial people, and they're the people that keep the truck running,
Right.
So
and that's so important, because a lot of people don't realize that everyone knows, Mr. Jones, the daytime custodian. The kids know him, the parents know him, but so much of the work and so much of the cleaning is done on that second and sometimes third shift.
Yes,
those,
sir. Yeah.
Those custodians just go, unknown, and teachers get to the class the next day and it's just clean again.
Yeah, like poof, wave a magic wand, and I, like I said, I took some things out of the sessions this year about having a suggestion box, if you will, based on how am I doing, or your uniforms are too baggy, or anything that's on your mind. I'm gonna make that, and so it can be anonymous, and they can make a comment, and so, and then the wall of fame, I can I took that out of the picture. I already have a location earmarked for that, where I can post that stuff, and not just for our people, for everybody, everybody to see how great Patty and the custodian in the gym is doing, or Annette up there in the second floor in C wing that nobody sees, so that was some takes I took out of the sessions this year. And and like I said, when you and Ken did that's like, it was so it was entertaining, let's put it that way. But it was helpful because that you're talking my language. Everything you guys said, and now Ken is a plumber too. So like, boom, now my ears perked up. I'm like, oh, another plumber in the room. Great. So, but that's all things that happen on a daily. And, and it goes back to when you're younger, you're a little bit more forceful. All right.
Yeah.
But like, Paul, once you have grandkids, things that mattered in way back when really don't
matter anymore.
They're not a big deal right now.
Exactly.
I get a gift from my oldest son. He goes, Dad, you're letting Isley eat gummy bears in your truck? I go, yeah, why not? He goes, Dad, we weren't even allowed to have a bottle of water in your truck.
We weren't even allowed in your truck.
I get the exact same thing. Exactly. My kids say the same thing to me.
Yeah, but that's what I get from my kids. She's eating animal or Cheez-Its in your truck. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And
you gave her cinnamon toast crunch before dinner? Yeah, that's what you wanted.
Yeah, but things that you used to lose your top on years ago, now that you've become older and wiser, so to speak, that that stuff really isn't a big priority to me right now. There's other things that I'm focusing my energy and time on, where that's just the like I said, I've been blessed the whole time I've been here. I've had a lot of great people, for me, with me, and it's a family atmosphere, like I said, and that's the way I consider it. you come to my house every day. So why not be family, and I try to treat everybody I've been called gruff at points, through my time, but that's just probably more me, the way I express myself and my voice, I'm more louder than normal people. And, but I've managed, I've learned, so, I try not to, get upset about things that I really have no control over, and try to control the things I can, so
that's it.
No, that's great advice. And something you probably don't know is Paul is not only my co-host and my go-to guy, he's also my co-pilot and captain when driving, and we made record time.
Oh, okay,
Atlantic City. I mean, we crushed it, right, Paul?
Yeah,
I mean, GPS wasn't on until after we took a left at the bridge. But here's my challenge to you, because you said you're going to do it. You do your wall of fame.
Yep.
You get it set up, and we're going to have a ribbon cutting. Paul and I, as long as Paul's available, I'll commit myself to being available. We'll drive down because I want to see your facility.
Oh,
We'll drive down and we'll bring the pizza with all the fixins for your team, for you to celebrate the ball.
I'd love to see the facility after hearing about it so much.
Yeah, and I would love to have you guys. And like I said, you guys are like family to me, and just based on the things you take out of those classes, that, like I said, and I felt more in tune this year than I have in past years, with every class I took and all the speakers that were, in the session. So there was a lot, and it and you brought it up, Josh brought it up earlier about, it wasn't just like what people do at their school or what I do as a person. It was more generalized to the masses and the colleagues that are in the audience. It wasn't about my school or, so that's where you pick up a lot of different information. And like I said, I there's a lot of points that I'm, that are on my vision now. So,
yeah. And I think it's great to see so many people that took 3 or 4 days out of their schools and out of their schedule to be there. I mean, it's so easy to find an excuse.
Oh yeah.
You had surgery recently, right? It would have been an easy thing to say, I got to stay home and keep my leg up.
Yeah.
Right. But there you were traveling through the event,
riding around in.
Yeah. From end to end.
And it was funny you say that, Paul, because my wife, my friend of ours gave me that, and I totally rebuilt it, and didn't make it any faster. But my wife goes, why are you going to take your Jazzy? I go, now my wife's been down there with me throughout the years. I go, hun, you know how much walking there is? I said, well, you got a new knee. I said, yeah, I'm going to walk, but I can't walk 38 miles in one day.
Exactly.
Cover a lot of ground.
So I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't even have made it till 5 o'clock on all the walking. You figure if you're at the convention there where the classes and all are, and then now I'm going back to the parking garage to get my clothes for the evening.
Right.
That's 700 miles,
Right.
So,
but it would have been so easy to say, I'm just going to sit home and sit it out. Yeah. But funny you should say that, because someone had asked me when they saw me talking to you, they said, didn't I see that guy riding in one of those little sit-on scooters? And now he's walking out. And I told them he rode the scooter and he went into Josh's session, and then he got up and walked out. I said, I think Josh has powers that no one knows about.
I don't even know about.
And like I said, I got my surgery in January 19th was my official day. And, this week here is like 9 weeks, but I've already had a knee replacement when I was 40 based on, being a plumber all my life.
Yeah.
And, but I tell people, 25 does, when you're 25 don't care about 56. What I am
that's
now.
right.
Yep.
So you pay that price when, you're doing things that you wouldn't even have dreamed to be doing at 25. So, and that's what I try to, and it helps. It helps in a positive way with my sons, because my oldest son's 34 and my middle son, Jacob, he's 30, and I have a 27-year-old, and now they see dad with two bionic knees, and they're like, oh, maybe I should wear my knee pads today.
Yeah,
and,
exactly right.
Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should get some help when I carry that 500-pound piece of equipment. So it's and I've been telling them all along. I said you got to take care of yourself, but you don't think about that when you're 30 years old.
No, it was what the great Jesse Owens, the track star, that said, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have took better care of myself.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And no, but and like I said, with my knee, it was great, and I did some walking, but there's a time where
take the jazzy out. Time to drive the jazzy.
Bring out the jazzy. Yep. And no, but it was, like I said, the whole show was awesome, and based on being able to eat and have sit down lunch with people and talk to people you haven't seen, and even since our Burlington County chapter has went back to having our annual luncheons on the second Tuesday of the month, just to see those people that you haven't seen.
Yep.
Everything's been closed down, and we have vendors that come to our chapter meetings that some people use them, but then I actually found, like, Butler Water Treatment is a company that I found from our chapter meetings, where the person that did our water treatment here for our heating system and AC had retired. So I was like, I have nobody, but then you find that vendor at, and you do a little legwork. Oh, do you use Butler? Yes. Oh, they're a great company. So that's where, you get that feedback from other people. So,
and it's great. It's great therapy to find out that you're not the only one with XYZ problem, or you tell a story and someone says, yeah, I got that same problem that I've dealt with it. It's to sit there at least once a month and just trade stories with the other facilities directors. It's great therapy.
Yes, it is. And I agree.
Yeah, I'll tell you hit something, Scott, and Paul, I didn't get a chance to tell you this, but we got our first call Wednesday for someone that wants to sponsor our podcast, which 10 episodes in, now 11, was kind of interesting. And in conversation, they're not going to be a sponsor. And it's not to say we're not going to have sponsors, but they're going to be the right sponsors. It's not just going to be about taking people's money. But what I took away from the conversation that I had with that person, and what I'm listening to you, is how important these associations are for the companies that you choose to work with. And there's a lot of questions that you should be asking yourself, but there's a number of questions you should be asking your peers, especially when it's a new vendor. You should be asking, hey, does anybody use this company? What's your experience been like? Does it have the same owners? Do they give you the cable price? Which I think lots of companies, sadly, today, they're going with the cable promotion, which is, sign up today and we're going to give you your first year at this. And they don't tell you what it's going to look like next year. And all of a sudden it's double the money, right? So the importance of collaborating with your peers regularly before you make those decisions, because your peers will tell you the honest truth. The businesses, sadly, there's too many businesses out there today that won't. So that's a great point. I want to share with you, Scott, my takeaway about you and why I just think the world of you. I think you're a naturally gifted leader. I think it's just ingrained in you. And I also see something that's a rarity. You truly appreciate and love life. Like, whatever situation you be in, I think that you've probably had some challenges and difficulties, like you shared about leaving home at 18. But I think you have a great deal of appreciation. And it's funny, I've always kind of felt that way. And I'm going to stereotype you for a second. And I stereotyped you the other night. I said, man, you to me, you seem like a John Deere guy.
Oh, I am a John Deere guy.
I said, I think you're a John Deere guy, and I said, but you got a Kubota.
There you go.
There's
you
my
have a
tractor.
yeah. But I said you got a Kubota hat on,
Yeah.
right? Remember?
Yeah.
And I said, well, are you a John Deere guy or are you a Kubota guy? And tell me what you think, because I'm a John Deere guy. I don't have one, but if I could have something, I sit here and say I'd love to have a John Deere. Just the green, my shirt, just that green machine with the yellow seat. It's just it feels like it fits me. And so when I asked you the question, because you had the Kubota hat on, you said, when I came in, they already had Kubota equipment. And for me to have what I want would disrupt what my team is used to. So I got used to what they were using so that I didn't have to change their world too much. And you know what I found out? That Kubota makes good equipment.
Yeah.
And for the price, you can't beat it. And
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sitting here saying, any other leader, typical leaders would come into that and they go, I'm John Deere, here I come. And they bring their systems. But you took the systems and the products that work for your team already, and you kept those in place so that they can continue and not miss out on anything. And that just kind of wowed me. That kind of knocked me off my feet because there's not a lot of people that do that.
Well, based on what I said, Paul or Josh, that now you keep a standard inventory of all your filters and all. Now I don't have to, go to John Deere, or I don't have to go to a place that sells lawnmowers and everything, filters, oil filters. We do all that in house, and that way I can keep it standardized. I don't have the John Deere. I don't have a Kubota. I don't have 500 different pieces of equipment. So, but in the John Deere, this is a tractor that I got out of a barn that looked like Jason lived in it.
For our younger people, Friday the 13th hockey mask killer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was a little uneasy, but that's a 1941 John Deere B that me and my youngest son restored, and which we still have in the family. But that journey was awesome. Also, taking something from that era that was pre-war, it's all steel. It's a 2-cylinder tractor, and from what it looked like, well, and in a long story short, I went up with a couple friends, flatbed trailer. We're bringing this thing out. I call my wife. She goes, because I told her I'm going to look at a little tractor. Yeah. So we get it out of the barn. Like I said, Jason's in somewhere in there. He was there. I could see him. I felt him. But we bring the tractor out. I take a picture of it, send it to my wife. She goes, "What in the? You know what? That's not a small tractor." I go, "Well, you just got to see it." So I bring it home, and it was total wreck. But that was a journey. It was a 2-year journey, which I made. The thing was total trash. It's a show track. Like, we take it to shows now, and it's top of the line, like as a totally restored tractor. So, and but that was on my bucket list too, to have something that, and it starts like probably better than most vehicles today, and it's it's back when things were simple.
Yeah. I'm just glad I stereotyped properly, because I mean I still have
it. Hit it.
I can still read the John Deere people. You don't need to wear the hat, but most of them do.
You hit it right on the head, Josh. And it's just there's a few things in the house that I've I got a lot of John Deere stuff in the house, but like hobbies, that was a thing, a good hobby. And like I said, it was fun, and we still take it to shows. But my youngest son has it at his place now, because I threatened to sell it, but he wasn't having it. So, but it was a good deal. Yeah.
Well, this has been great, Scott. I appreciate you making some time with us. Great to get to see you one more time. Apologize I didn't get to give you the proper goodbye, but glad we got to say hello again. And
and you you have business to take care of, and that's important because I've been down that road, and it's never easy. So you know, and you don't mind talking to people that are on your same wavelength. You know, that's you guys are in my wheelhouse, you know, so to speak. And you're not, you know, you're playing people like me, you know,
Absolutely.
and there ain't no funny business.
We love talk. We're just ordinary guys talking to extraordinary people. That's people doing extraordinary things, I should say.
Right.
And you definitely fit that wheelhouse, my friend. Paul, am I missing anything, my friend? I think I cut you off. I didn't mean to do that.
No, I think we're doing good. I just didn't know if you had a shout out this week.
I do. I messed up with Kenny. I mean, that was a big fail. Hey, stand up a little bit. I want to show off the new edition. Look, for those of you that are watching, it's official. Paul has now got his name on a Be Awesome shirt, and that doesn't come off. And we're gonna have a Paul at Be Awesome. That's the Be Awesome. Yeah, the special edition Be Awesome Ambassador mechanic shirt, and that's like you don't get out now. You're stuck.
That's because we wear many hats.
Yes.
Yep.
Paul, does that have a pocket?
Oh, it's got lots of pockets.
Sleeve pockets. And a pocket here.
Oh, that's the real deal, friend.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And your name, too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My boss takes good care of me.
Wow.
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I'm waiting for the pizza with all the toppings.
Get the
now,
GPS.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys live close to each other in your...
Not close enough.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know, like, if you're an hour away or...
Yeah. Paul's in Watertown, which is about 45 minutes to 3 days, depending on what time of day you get on the
traffic and when you leave. Yeah.
And I'm
45 minutes on a Sunday morning at 8:00. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So speaking of that, before we go too far, Josh, I promised a couple of fans a shout out.
Okay.
Two cousins of mine, young ladies that I've watched grow up from as young as my grandchildren are now, and Chrissy is at Merrimack College in North Andover, and her sister Katie, her older sister Katie, is at Fairfield in Connecticut. They're our fans now, and I promised them a shout out. There's nothing like family, and that's that's where we want to be. We want to recognize people, friends or family, and family.
Yeah,
100%. No, we have some. This is my second podcast channel. The original Be Awesome is coming back on. I'm working on some exciting stuff. It's been a while. It's actually been tough to nail down guests because life's been hard for a lot of folks that we want to try to get on. But the following, when we were in Atlantic City, I mean, we just had so many people that came up to us and they're like, "I love you." I mean, we were in the hotel, checking into the hotel, and that guy that neither of us knew tapped me on the shoulder because I was wearing my Be Awesome jump tracksuit, which we got to get you one of those next, Paul.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a second here. I'm going to put my size in.
It's an Adidas Be Awesome tracksuit. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But he literally came, grabbed me and said, "We love what you're doing. The podcast is great." I mean, the following, the views, the listens, the live when people are putting stuff on. Chris Martinetti, Chris, Chris was one of my. I had a couple of lifesavers on Tuesday. I had you'll give us some shout outs. I had Scott Carpenter and Pat Buchanan for Operations Hero. I had to take an emergency flight home from Philadelphia, which is almost 80 miles. And Scott and Pat got in the car and drove me to the airport, got me there safe. I got to the Logan, took a bus, and Chris Martinetti was waiting in his car, and I knew he had stuff to do and take his son to hockey, and without even a question, gave me a ride home and made sure I got home safe to take care of business. So thank you, Chris. And he says, "Looks good, but I thought it was a vest." No, up close and personal. That thing's all business, Chris. So
that's actually sweet. That's Paul. That's sweet. Did you get like a 5-pack on that or
no? But I'll tell you what, Scott, I might be able to make some magic happen and have something special for you for that pizza party ribbon cutting. So I'm just throwing a whole bunch of hooks out there to motivate you to get that wall of fame up. Because
you know me, like I said,
I've told thousands of people over the course of my career about Wall of Fame, and I've yet to be invited to the school. And I told people I'll travel anywhere in the country if you put a Wall of Fame up, and you want to do something, I will come see you, and I will have that. So
and that's, like I said, I never gave up on anything, so that will happen, you know.
Yep.
So but you guys are awesome, and you do I just love talking to you, because now, like I said, I had my knee done, but I feel like I can go out of my office and do a backflip, you know.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No. Well, we already talked about that, you know, like, but that's what you talk to people at your level, and that makes you feel like I'm doing pretty well today, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, people that you talk to respect you. I respect you, both of you guys, and you do great work, and you know, people respect you for that.
Yep. Well, that's about as good a way to end it, other than for our unsung hero of the week. And I got to tell you, I did some homework last night. I wanted to learn as much as I could and make sure I had some stuff. And when I did a search for Scott Klein at Rancocas Regional Valley High School, the first search result said RV's Unsung Heroes, the Custodial Staff. It's a newspaper article from December 3rd, 2020, and it says the overlooked importance of custodians at Rancocas Valley during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm going to read just parts of it, but it starts out, the clock strikes 2:27 and the final bell rings as all the students clock out, but the custodial night crew is just clocking in. The rounds begin with cleaning classrooms and hallways, but today there was a surprise in the C-Wing bathroom, a gourmet meal of dried eggs on the walls and apples clogging the toilets. Eggshells line the room, and toilet water is overflowing from the stalls as one lucky custodian's workday begins. Surprisingly, situations like these are not uncommon occurrences for a custodian like Luther Lewis, who you mentioned, the night foreman at RV. Even amid a pandemic with less than 1/4 of the student population in the building, for only a week or so at a time, it seems as though the workload and responsibilities of the custodial staff have completely transformed at the hands of COVID-19. I'll put this article in here, but here's the kicker at the end that was important for me to share. The custodial staff has been working really hard. Business Administrator Lisa Giovanelli said they adapt. Whatever we throw at them, they meet the challenge and do what's requested of them. They work overtime. They're always available. Despite any extra hours or stressors added to their day, the custodial staff focuses on finding joy in being able to come to work and do their jobs. Klein, you. They didn't use your first name, so I'm just letting them know that Scott Klein finds a deep sense of appreciation for being able to even see the other people within the building, and this serves as motivation for him to ensure the highest level of maintenance and cleanliness for everyone. Even when the walls are plastered with egg yolk and bobbing for apples takes a wrong turn, Klein states, "I'm glad people are back. I love the kids. That's what we do." Hats off to you and your staff, Scott. We're proud of you. We're amazed at the work that you do, and keep doing it, because it makes a difference.
Yep, and I appreciate it. And like I said, I appreciate everything you guys have helped me with through the years, and the guidance and the knowledge, and like I said, and they said at the session, it's all about the kids. That's what we do. We don't make light bulbs here. We bring kids to learn and have a safe place to learn, and want to come to school. So I appreciate both of you.
Thank you.
No, that's great. And we'll be talking soon, and that'll do it from here. Paul, we'll debrief after this and come up with our next episode. I think we're getting real lucky at coming into good fortune of finding some great folks. If you have someone that you think would be a great guest, that's in schools, that's making a difference, that's done something extraordinary, maybe an unsung hero that we need to get out and let the world know about. We'll talk to anybody and listen and see if there's a fit. This podcast is designed for a couple of different reasons. One, we want people to understand and know how wonderful and amazing and rewarding being a facility professional in education is. We want companies that want to work with education facility professionals to know that they're different, that they talk to their peers, that they need to be treated like partners, treated like family in Scott Klein's words, that they need to be treated like family and they need to be in there for the long game. These amazing folks are typically working in the same place for their entire career. And they want people by their side for as much of that as possible. And then lastly, to give recognition, to let the world know how much our facility professionals are really appreciated, because they're wildly underthanked. They're not thanked enough. And we need to do better at that, because they're keeping places clean, safe, and healthy, not just for the students, but for their communities. And it makes a difference. So if you have any guest ideas, Josh at Be Awesome, pretty soon Paul at Be Awesome will be live. You can send it to him too. I can't keep up with all the traffic, but that's JOSH at Beawesome, BEAUSM.com. We'd love the 5-star ratings and reviews. You can go to any of our social media pages. There's a link, and you just click on the podcast platform that you listen to audio-wise. And we love to get those, because we want to get more exposure and opportunity out there. And we look forward to having you next week as our guest again. And in the meantime, if you can be anything, be awesome. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.